Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Olivia. Today we're doing a craft. I was perusing the internet as I am wanting to do, and I had Rachel Maxey on in the background for a very long time. I watched, I think, every single one of her videos, and she has made two little book nooks like so. One was medieval themed, one was over the garden wall. And I said, I have some air dry clay and some leftover foliage from when I made this mirror here, and you know, my ego said, hey, guess what I can do? So that's what we're doing today. So without, further ado, let's get into planning this thing. This is just gonna be a rough sketch. Please don't judge my artistic ability. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we're gonna do some sort of cobblestone path. There, maybe some trees, foliage, do a couple trees, foliage, and then some little baby mushrooms, and then paint a forest and the path continuing on. Something like this. Yeah? Okay. The tools needed for this project will be air dry clay, acrylic paint, some sort of cardboard or book box set, hot glue, fake foliage, and some sort of sculpting tools, not official. I don't think you need like official sculpting tools. I think you need paintbrushes and water and ingenuity and creativeness to make it work, because I certainly don't have any tools and I'm not going to be going out and getting any. Do I need anything else? Oh yeah, patience. Nothing is more frustrating than an art project, but they're always worth it in the end. So let's start sculpting. Whoops, that looked way cooler in my head. Is that crooked? It's so crooked. First and foremost, the two solo cups, my cat has not been drinking water, so I keep them on the floor for her. They were just out of the way for this. Second of all, first time watching Jennifer's body, film was ahead of its time. Okay, now into actually sculpting. I use those wooden dowels as my sculpting tools because they were pokey and flat on either end, and it made making the mushrooms a lot easier to get into really small crevices. As for the cobblestones, I'm really just squeezing them into a square shape and laying them next to each other to see how they all fit together. On top of that, I also, you can see kind of in that upper right corner, I made a little baby snail. I tried to sculpt some trees out of clay, and they were A, too heavy, and B, looking rather phallic. I don't want that. So for my next trick, I think I'm gonna try and do something different. I'm still gonna use these wooden dowels as support, like the base of the tree. They're all kind of different heights. When I was in, I want to say like middle school or something, I had an art class where we took craft paper like this, which I have a ton of, or it was a paper bag, and we twisted it up and like broke little pieces off and made branches. So I'm gonna do something like that, but I think what I'm gonna do is use some good old handy dandy Reynolds wrap here to, sorry, someone was texting me, that's rude. I'm gonna take good old Reynolds wrap here as kind of like a base and just have it be like armature wire, just because I don't have armature wire at the moment and I don't feel like running out and getting any, but good old tin foil helps. So let's just do a quick little test run where you just, that might not be. Oh, this is already gonna work really well. I can tell. I'm a genius. I am gonna, obviously, I'll glue it down, but we'll do this. Yeah, and then I can take little skinny pieces. Obviously, I'll glue that down in the Nook itself. If you found the tinfoil sound from the previous clip annoying, this was 1,000 times worse. But basically, I'm taking smaller pieces and sticking it to where branches might be and just kind of sculpting using the tinfoil. And then cover, yep, genius. I'm a genius. Okay, So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna make some spooky looking trees. I'm so good. So after sculpting that little tree, I took a piece of craft paper and tried to use it as the bark. Clearly that was not working. I couldn't get it to stick, so I eventually just decided to use my air dry clay and I would be able to sculpt bark into it. The tinfoil worked great because it was actually strong enough to not only adhere to the clay, but also hold the weight pretty well. Like, I didn't have any issues with anything breaking or falling down. This actually turned out way better than I thought. My sculpting skills are, leave something to be desired, but it was easy enough that I think I could improve over time. As for the end of day one, we have my sculpted tree, which is way too big, so I didn't need to end up doing 3. I only need 1, which is fine. I'm gonna cover that in moss and some stuff. Molly, please. You are so cute. Please stop messing with my art project. Wow, you're cute. Honey, you gotta stop. Okay, then we have all of my little stepping stones, some random rocks. They're the big clumps because that's just leftover clay. 3 or 4 of my mushrooms lost their tops, but that's okay because they're all sitting over here, air drying, and yeah. It's all taken quite a bit of effort, and I need all of that to dry. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, but it's also a painting day, so that's when I'm gonna do the full backdrop and everything and put it into the actual book Nook box. On this day, I don't really have a whole lot to report. It was actually really nice. I sat outside with my mother and my stepfather while I painted. They watched TV and we chatted, and it was great. And I just spent the day mixing paint, seeing what colors worked, what I liked. It was some trial and error. We had to repaint some stuff here and there, but overall, really good day. So just enjoy some calming music, maybe some nature sounds as we go through this. For the polka dots on my little red Amanita mushrooms, I just used the end of a paintbrush, which is a technique used in nail polish and nail art, but it applies here as well to just make little uneven dots. I apologize, this clip is out of focus, but happens sometimes. Anyway, they turned out super cute. I'm obsessed with them. They're probably my favorite part of this project. Here's just a close-up of all of the work I had done. The tree, the rocks, the mushrooms, the little cobblestones, which I used a paper towel to get that texture. And of course, my little snail guy who needs a name. I was thinking Stanley, but if you have better suggestions, please leave a comment down below telling me what you think I should name him. Now comes the hard and slightly dangerous part. I used a box cutter to make an opening for my book Nook. I used an old box set of one of my favorite book series is The Shades of Magic by V. Schwab. Once that was open, I decided to go in and do a rough pencil guide of where I wanted to paint everything. Once I finished the pencil guide, I went in with my tree to make sure everything was to scale and where everything would fit together, and I left a little mark in there letting me know where the tree would sit, and then I got on with it and painted my scene. And this is what I had done at the end of day 2. Worst sound ever. What is happening? Oh, this doesn't bode well for the day. Let's wrap this up. I feel like someone just took all my energy and siphoned it out. I feel like they do in 90s deep dub Sailor Moon. And they use the jewelry to suck everyone's energy out and make them beautiful. That's how I feel. Anyway, so today what we're gonna be doing is taking all of this fake foliage, there's some moss under there, and putting it in here. And frankly, This doesn't look half bad when I look at it in, you know, the viewfinder. And when I looked at it last night because I put the tree in, it really doesn't look awful. So I'm going to use handy dandy hot glue gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these smaller little ones and just, you know, glue them, hot glue them on here and make it look fluffy and full. And I've got some moss that'll be good for the ground, and that's how we're going to do this. But tree has to come first.
I don't really think you need an explanation for it, but you take the leaves, see where you want to put them, you hot glue it, you stick it, you kind of move them around, zhuzh it, make it look like a full tree. It ended up being pretty dark inside the book nook, so I did end up taking the top part off of it just to allow a little more light in. Then I just continued adding in my cobblestones, adding in moss to act as grass, seeing where things fit, what looked good, and then once I was done with that, it's now time for the reveal.
Ta-da! She's done. I think she's so stinking cute. But what went well, what didn't, what works, what doesn't, where can I improve? So, what I do like is the ground. I love my mushrooms, I love the cobblestones, I love the flowers, I love the rock, I love my teeny tiny little snail. I think it's so cute. On the tree, I like the way the leaves came out. However, I think that I could work on size, like working everything to scale, and some painting skills. I think that, you know, having not sculpted anything in well over a decade, it shows. The whole idea of this project was to make something, and you have to make bad art before you can make incredible art, and that's okay. And then obviously my drawing skills have never been it, so if you look too closely you're like, oh, a child did that, but like honestly it's not the worst. I think, again, the leaves, I did a good job with texture, and it's the perspective in the back here that leaves something to be desired. But I don't know, I think it was fun, it was worth doing. Only one hot glue burn on the thumb, but is to be expected with teeny tiny little rocks that you have to individually glue. So yeah, overall happy. I like the way it looks in the bookcase, and I would do another one. I think if I were to do another one, I have two options. I can either really plan it out and like hone the drawing and painting skills to make it very professional looking, or I do something like a medieval castle where I can do the stonework and that's the entirety of it, and it requires very little painting skill. Either way, I still had to go through and like, as you can see, I individually painted all of that, like each stone, I sculpted each stone. The only thing that, you know, wasn't done by me were the leaves and the moss that's pre-bought. But overall, fun project, highly recommend. And if you enjoyed that, let me know, and I will do more art projects. Other than that, I usually do makeup, fashion, what have you. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Bye.